Welcome, it's your boy Hometown with another Beatsnchill Presents interview. And I have a special guest, my brother Jordan Patrick, with us today. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Also leave a comment, you know what I'm saying? Check us out on Instagram, do your due diligence. So we're here again. Appreciate you joining me today, bro. What's going on with you?
Sure, kicking it. Glad to be here with the bros. You know what I mean?
It feels so fake.
I just talked to you yesterday.
Just talked yesterday, like probably gonna play the game later or some shit.
For sure.
What's been up with you, man? What's been new? I see you got a lot of motion going on, just in and out of the city a lot.
Yeah, work has been having me travel different places. Pretty busy, pretty blessed. Can't complain really. Life is good. Just working on music, trying to make the best records, best beats, write the best raps possible, be as creative as possible. Work with the homies as much as possible. So just try to get the most out of life right now. Just been a very transitional period. Like you said, I'm just in and out of the city a lot. So
Gotcha.
it feels good to be home for a good amount of time before I go back out. And like I said, I'm just grateful to be here, happy to be here.
Cool. I mean, I got to start with the hottest stuff first. So, everybody saw the picture. That was it TMZ?
Yeah, it's
cut?
TMZ.
You was walking out of looks like a restaurant with A$AP Rocky.
Yeah.
What was that about?
Niggas was hungry. That what it really was. So we was working on a studio session in the studio in which we working on the album. It's not too far away. And he was like, y'all hungry? And I was like, yeah. So we just slid there. Mm-hmm. And it was cool. It was funny because I remember texting John like, oh, damn, we ain't got no motion. Ain't no paparazzi. And lo and behold, I think it's a thing out there, though. Like, when celebrities go to spots, they, call the paparazzi because it makes the spot hot. Mm-hmm. But I didn't really like my plate. but it was like a vegan spot. It wasn't that great. But I think the moment is cool. It was cool to have, my first paparazzi picture.
Gotcha.
That's something that you,
Yeah.
think about when you're a kid.
Pretty cool.
For sure.
Pretty cool.
He wasn't too happy with that picture, though. He was like, man, I look crazy. He was like, because like I said, it wasn't on some, celebratory at all. We were just hungry. You know what I'm saying? We just slid. It was me, him, Rob was out there.
Okay. Gallardo?
Yeah, Gallardo was out there just kicking it, working on the album. For sure.
Okay. And like I said, I've seen you. I remember you posted a couple years back where you did a montage of I think 2020 or whatever during the peak of COVID.
Yeah.
And I remember you flew out to LA and all that. I think that's one of the first times I kind of recall you was kind of traveling a little bit more.
Yeah.
With music and stuff like that. So are you starting to do more things outside of Florida as opposed to working with artists or entities in Florida?
Definitely graduated that local scene,
Mm-hmm.
which is a blessing. Being able to spread my influence and sprinkle it in different areas and different genres as well. Mm-hmm. Being in LA, meeting different creatives, meeting people that I used to read about. You know what I'm saying? And meeting people that are my peers that are successful. Ran into Cole Bennett. He's a great guy. Mm-hmm. And just really seeing how the industry really works for myself.
Gotcha.
When you look at interviews and things of that nature, you always see the he say, she said aspect of how things work or how things are. But just to be immersed and see, how things really work, that's pretty cool. And it's realizing talent is the beginning. Mm-hmm. It's other things at play. Some are in your favor, some are not. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's just part of the game. And I feel while I was in my local spree of doing things and working with artists, I was so anti playing the game. But playing the game is how you win. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I just enjoy it. I enjoy being out there on a creative aspect. I definitely love Tampa more as a city. Mm-hmm. It's just home. But being in LA in a creative sense definitely is eye opening and it's very inspiring.
Right.
Seeing not only the wealth out there, but seeing what creative or being creative can get you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a cool aspect of it.
Okay. I mean, to me, I'm in this day and age with people doing some of the similar things, working with people, traveling and whatnot, it's almost impossible to kind of not want to promote that or show that off. You come out, you're very low key on social media. If it ain't, I mean, we talk all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's different, but I'm pretty sure for others, it's damn, bro, I didn't even. to them seeing that photo was like, whoa, what the fuck? All right, cool. Like, thought this motherfucker just was producing Gats projects, you know? You know what I'm saying? So like, how do you? Is that something that you're new to doing, like trying to maintain, like being low key, or has that always been just something that you've been doing with social media when it comes to music?
That's a good question. And before we answer that question, I want to give like a thing too, just like a Beatsnchill exclusive. I remember telling Gatsby that I was like working on stuff in LA. So a good a lot of that part of that album was produced in LA.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So you heard it here first, and he heard the record. He's like, "Who's these?" And I was like, "Let's wait on it." And then after a while, I was like, "Nah, we could rock with him." But to answer your initial question, I am low key for two reasons. One, I don't feel like I'm the greatest at social media. I feel like that is an art form. I feel like that's a skill. And two, it's like I try to stay humble and just like just keep humility. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people like flag and like flash things that, I don't have to say what's already understood, but I want to make sure I get my job done. I could do all the Instagram posting all I want in the world, but if bro don't think the album sound cool, if I'm not doing my job, I just got a bunch of pictures of something that's not going to produce.
It's true.
Best believe, when it come out, it's not going to be the same. Like, I'm not going to be as lucky. I got to sauce it up a little bit.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Just because, once again, that's part of the game. Like, I can't be low-key about everything. And actually, the recent carousels have been a product of conversations that Gallardo and I have. He's like, bro, we do all this cool stuff, and we never flex. And it's because it's like, honestly, it's a conscious decision and effort to pull out your phone and be like, let me take a picture of this moment. When you, the person behind the computer, clicking the button, it's like, it's more effort. Like, I got stuff that I'm going to post soon, but it's like, it's been a conscious, like, I'll say this thing when we out, like, I got to get something for the carousel. Like, that's like a little running joke I got. And, I'm going to try to be better at it. But at the end of the day, social media is social media. Like, at the end of the day, it's like, that's not real life. And I'm proud to say that my real life is way more lit than what my social media presents.
I thought I was just being old, bitch. I thought I was old school. I ain't post. I used to be the first one to eat my food and everybody still taking pictures of their food.
Yeah. It's just not, for me personally, it's just not natural, especially in a working environment. And when you're working with people of a certain caliber, certain things you can't take a picture of. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I feel that.
It's been times where we've had like, I've been on shoots or things of that nature, and we tell people put the phones up, like, because you don't want that stuff to get out before it's ready. Things leak. Like, I didn't. Of course, you know things leak. Some people leak their own stuff, but like things actually leak. Like things get hacked. So if we can minimize those things, that's definitely something that we work on.
Got you.
And I don't want to be somebody in the room that's always got their phone up. Like,
got you. Okay.
Rather have a laptop open.
So this is like also within the last couple of years too. Within this time frame, the last 2-3 years, you also have been like resurfacing on the artist aspect, releasing music, right? You dropped like a few singles. I do remember one of the most recent ones was Leap of Faith.
Yeah.
24/7, Hey You, like those were kind of like back-to-back kind of like records, and like I remember reaching out to you, like, yo, you'll be down to perform this, and like Tim B was like, all right, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I didn't know you was trying to perform, nigga. I was throwing it out there.
For sure.
How are you balancing that?
So I'm not doing a good job at that at all. Because like I said, I'm just so focused on this current goal. And this is like a great opportunity that God has blessed me with, so I don't want to fumble that.
Gotcha.
But it's something that I've been working on. Like I just bought this mic that I can travel with. So I'm in a hotel. I got stuff loaded up. I've talked to engineers and stuff, so to ease my workload, I record my stuff and I send it off, get it mixed.
Gotcha.
Of course, I do like my own personal mix to it, but I have a great guy that I work with, and he will be revealed soon. I don't want to give up the sauce just yet, but and we all tapped in, and
gotcha.
I can't wait to show that stuff, like the experiences that I'm having right now. I'm putting that in the new music.
Gotcha.
Because that's one thing, just like to be transparent. That's one thing I always thought. Like I have good conceptual songs, but like life is, I feel like, inspiring me to say different things.
Gotcha.
So I just want to definitely like put that in the music, and before I can create that type of content, I have to live it.
Gotcha.
So I'm just like really focused on the album and just like just working hard in that aspect and staying focused, staying locked in, and not squandering this opportunity.
Gotcha. Are you able to like kind of document
Yeah.
times too?
Yeah. So I have stuff that I can't post yet.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But
yeah.
when it's You gonna see it. Everybody
Gotcha,
gonna see it, and
yeah.
you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. like, you know what I'm saying? But like to the earlier point, like I just don't want to leak anything before.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? So, but
Right.
I definitely think, like I said, after things have come to the light,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be a fun time. We gonna have fun.
Got
We
you.
gonna have fun for sure.
So, I mean, I want to kind of stay on the artist aspect. Like, I noticed that over the years of our relationship, I noticed that in your work, one of the things you focus on is kind of like by having a variety of sounds, right? You don't want to stick to just one sound.
Yeah.
I think you kind of have like your pocket, but I think like you've shown that you can work with different type of artists, right? From certain types of female artists, from certain types of rappers, just all different styles, and I think that you also show that in like your artistry. You're not just rapping, right? You're also just holding the tune, singing a bit. You know what I mean? Like, what is that? Is that kind of like something that you are? Is that on purpose, or is that also just like, let me just try these things?
I'll say it's on purpose. I like great music. Like I'm a music guy first. You know, some
Okay.
people like, as rappers, they like lyrics first, bars 1st or a specific or particular type of content. Like for me, it's really like if I make a dope beat, I'm like, what's the best song I can make from this?
Okay.
So that might result in me singing, that might result in me rapping, or whatever the case may be. If I need to do a feature, it's been records. Like I did a record with Jay. It was called Mean to Me. We dropped that recently within the last 6 months. And
Jay Brown, right?
Jay Brown,
Yeah,
of
okay.
course. And that's a song that I just had. Hook done, open verses, and I just like, the hook just would like completed me at that moment. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I feel like I could contribute. And I feel like Jay had what it took to make it a full song.
Gotcha.
You know? So he came by the crib, I played it for him. He was like, I love it. I was like, bet. Let's get the verses on it. Let's really like make it a full song. And it came out dope. But for me, I'm just trying to do whatever gets the job done. I want to be known. You know, being a great rapper is fun. I definitely don't think I'm the best singer, but
Right.
I want to make the best songs. So that's the main part, the main component of all of this. Like, how can I make the best record possible?
Right. Is it a issue with knowing what records to keep near and dear to you for something in the future, as opposed to like giving this production off or giving this hook off? And I know you probably dabbled in writing for others as well.
For sure.
So it's like, how is that like? Is that a challenge for you, or is it just like, oh, this shit about 5 years old, I'm not finna keep this?
So for the writing portion, I could write freely. I could write all day. I feel like that's like my limitless. For the beats though, it's been times like, it's even recently, like I had gave a beat away and I'm just like, I really like that beat. Like that's like, it was a fire beat. And it wasn't even nothing crazy. It was just like a sample that I looped, but the sample chop was just beautiful. And I'm a big fan of just like beautiful music, like chords. And I'm like, it's gone now. But I will say, it's unlimited. Like it's an unlimited resource. You just got to keep searching for those sounds. And honestly, the beats that I loved 5 years ago, I feel like I've upgraded and have better beats than that now, if that makes sense. So I feel like it keeps progressing. The more I learn, I always continue to learn, I always continue to grow in my craft. So as time progresses, I steadily have better beats. And like my favorite beats or favorite songs are like, they evolve to other songs that I have, newer songs.
Right.
Like Leap of Faith is like the newest rendition of another song that I had.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like I could play you the other record, you be like, oh, okay. This was Leap of Faith was what you was trying to get at.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it's like that, more so like that. For me, it's more so beats, because beats are more snowflake-ish than lyrics. I feel like, as long as it's a different type of song, I have different type of bars.
Yeah.
But certain beats, it's like,
Okay.
you know what I mean? If that makes sense. I don't know if that answered the question. But
So-
that's how I feel.
I feel that. I think, like I said, I noticed similarities from the artist aspect of Jordan Patrick to the production, right? With that being said, now like I kind of want to go back, right? Because there's a lot of people that, probably new to Beatsnchill or just new to you over recent years, but may not know what you've done like recently to get to even where you're at now. So like, I remember meeting you through Tyree and Pat. I remember specifically hearing the past EP, what was it, 2013 EP? It was like 5. Oh yeah, 2012, 2013 EP was like 5 tracks or whatever. I think y'all came to,
We came to the storage unit.
nah, it was before that. I met y'all at a show. It was a show in Ybor.
Oh, I know what show that was. That was the album release party. It was the Gats. I want to say, was it the Red Tape?
Yeah, I think it was something like that, right?
Yeah. That was the first ever Tampa music event I've ever been to.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even know niggas did that. Like, I was like, what is this? Is Tom G gonna be here? Like, I had no idea.
Yeah, I remember seeing you. And I was like, oh, you made these beats? I was like, oh, okay, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
And I always laugh about the shit about how I invited you, Pat, and Tyree over to the crib on like some initiation shit. I was like, man, I want y'all niggas to get down. You feel me? Like, get down with us, bro. Like, y'all remember that shit?
I do.
That shit was like funny.
So when
as
did we
fuck.
go to the storage unit though? I remember the first time I met Santos was at the storage unit.
I don't know. I think it was just kind of like, because I think at that time y'all was started the idea of If It's Not You, It's Me, the little like compilation Valentine's Day project.
Yeah.
And I think y'all finished the whole project there, right?
Yeah, we did the whole project. We finished the whole project in a day. I'm not gonna say did, but we finished the whole project in a day. It was, I had a song called Best Friend. And we had a couple songs on there that I just did the hook for and had open verses for.
Yeah.
And then we had people do skits. We had Tyree do skits. We had Christy do skits. Thomas did skits. And just finished the whole thing. Maybe like, it was like a 12-hour process.
Right.
I think Pat might have went to work and then came back and we were still working on it. It was a crazy, crazy day.
Yeah, I remember now when the game chat, we always get on the game chat, and through regular loose ass conversation, I'll find out like newer shit about you just from like regular jokes and conversation. I remember you said something about how you started producing at like the age of fucking like 12 or something like that.
I started producing young, and I'm gonna tell you what's funny. I started producing before niggas was I'm not gonna say before niggas was producing on computers because that's crazy. But my first beats was on tape.
Tape.
On cassette. I could bring them. I could play them.
That's crazy, bitch.
I'm a hoarder of like sentimental stuff. So I still got my original mixers, my beat machine. It was a Yamaha RX-8. I had a Yamaha keyboard, and I had MIDI cables, but they weren't MIDI to USB. It was MIDI to MIDI. So the keyboard is hooked up to the beat machine, and I had to make the beat in one go around.
How did you know how to use that shit at that age? Like,
I was just, when you're a kid, you just learn how to do stuff. Like you don't learn how to play the game. You just grab the game and you start playing, and you like amazing at it. So I was just figuring it out, and I got to a point where I was like, I really wanted to sample. Like I never forget, I heard Ohio Player's "Sweet Sticky Thing," and it was like the first maybe 4 to 8 bars, and I was like, man, this is the best part of the song. I want to just loop this part over and over again. Like they messed the song up. That's all I used to say. I was like, man, I can do this better. They messed the song up. So I couldn't figure out a sample on that thing. You know what I'm saying? It took like now that I'm older, I look at it now, it's like it took like a memory card in the back. You can like upload drum sounds. So that part I didn't know, so I'm just using stock sounds. But all of that stuff like was the genesis of like what I do now. But I was definitely like making beats on tape. They're not good, but I could bring them. And it's like me like rapping on I got this one song, it's like, get off my lawn. And I'm just like, I listen to it back and it's hilarious because like, that's like the first leap of faith.
Hey, bro, this motherfucker show on the game chat, he was like, he got a video clip of me performing Testify, and he put like some Snapchat voice shit on there. Bro, everybody got ammo on me, dog. Everybody got ammo on me, bro.
Oh, man.
No, I think that's crazy because I didn't know anybody that was attempting to even like produce music around that age. Like niggas was trying to rap, of course.
Yeah.
Right, but like what made you go that way? Like what was the thing?
I just love music. It was weird. Like I remember having this drum, it's like this Fisher Price drum. It had drumsticks on it, like a snare drum, and it had strings attached to it. And you had to hit the drum. And I was, it's a kid's toy. Right. But I was playing on that bit like a little bit too old, so I cut the strings off so I could have like more control over. So I'm like playing it, and my dad looking at me like, you might have to get you an actual drum. Kind of a little bit too old for these. So so I was doing that for a little bit, and then, back in the day, they probably still have them now, but they were more prominent back then, like the channels where you could buy things. I think HSN, where the whole channel you just buy stuff. I saw a keyboard, I'm like, I want that. Yeah. Like they was doing a little demonstration. I was like, I need that. Like whatever that's doing, I need that. Yeah. It's like one of those keyboards that to teach you how to play, it like lights up, the keys light up. So I would mess with that, and eventually that led to, my uncle worked on music. He made music, he made beats, he still does, and he was using FL Studio. and I didn't know what that was.
Right.
And that was bad, bro. It's crazy. I was just hard-headed. And I remember asking my dad for the program, and he was like, nah, like, I don't know what that is. Don't download that.
Yeah.
So what I did was I downloaded the demo, right? So I downloaded the demo anyway. And this was like FL Studio 6. That's the first one I ever used. But I thought I was so slick. I downloaded it, and I changed the name of the program on the desktop. You know, you can rename it.
Yeah.
So I named it like Cinnamon Toast Crunch Demo. And I would make beats on it. So for my birthday, he was going to surprise me and buy the program. And he was like, yeah, we want to go buy it, but you already had it. So how you did that, and I told you not to download it. So I'm making beats for like 2 months straight. I'm like, yeah, this is hard. Yeah, but I was doing that, but I had no idea how to use it. So after I got it for my birthday, my uncle more so showed me how to show me the ropes on how to sample and things of that nature. And then from then it was like me learning how to make good beats. Like it was rough. I have like an old beat CD I never forget. Like I lost it in my room or something. It was like my room got dirty, I couldn't find it. And I'm like, dang, that was my ticket out. Like, oh, these beats on there. I'm like, dang, I ain't gonna never make. Like, I'm like, dang. So I find the beat CD like maybe 5-6 years later. The beats were so bad, like it was it was so crazy. And you know, by that time I had made other beats, so it was cool. But it was like, I wonder if they still have that website. It was this website. It was like SoundClick before SoundClick. I have a SoundClick profile that you could probably look up and find.
Damn, I remember SoundClick.
So you can still look it up. I got beats on there, and then I also have beats on like the Sony website. I forgot the name of it. It was like Sony Acid or something. They probably got bought out by now, but
I know you said you mentioned like your uncle was kind of early involved, like influential in like your early process of trying to produce or whatnot. Is he still kind of somebody you talk to today?
Yeah, definitely. I've been making music with him on and off for years. I remember being under 21 and I would do features for him for like certain artists that he was working with, like R&B groups. I think Tyree was there for some of them. And I remember being so young that I would perform in Ybor and I couldn't get into the club. They had to come get me to get in the club to do my little 8-bar verse. And they're like, bro, you gotta go home, bro. So I still make music with him. I actually talked to him this week, and he was sending me artists that like need beats and stuff. So I'm always tapped in with him. And I never forget. Like it's crazy. Like all this stuff is so vivid. Like I never forget. Like the first sample that he showed me how to sample was like this like Dora the Explorer sample. It was like Boots or something, and he like chopped it up, and I just like pressed the buttons. I just remember that like this is fire. And I just kept doing it, and, you know, just kept going, and here now.
Right. That's dope. I think another thing you said about, like you mentioned multiple times, you was like, bro, I was trash, or I was not good, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I think about, like, I remember hearing something recently, earlier this year, about how comparing, like, the time it takes to be great at something, or, you know, exceptionally good at something to where you can compete or be able to, you know, go professional or whatever, right? And when they was talking about music, people want to like, all right, I'm starting right now. It's 2023. If I'm not popping by the end of 2024, 2025, I'm gonna get this shit 3 years. Then if I'm not hitting, whatever, right? But it was like in no other like career path, it's that amount of time invested that you're gonna be able to like make a shift. If you think about like athletes,
for sure,
people who play basketball or football, that shit started at like 10 years old.
Yeah, and they tell you when you play sports, oh, you starting too late.
Yeah, you know what I'm
that's
saying?
a thing. That's not like that's a thing. Right. Oh, he started too late.
So it's like you starting at 10 years old. By the time you graduate high school, you got to go into them last like 2 to 4 years of college, and that's by that time it's 10 years invested in, and you're going to be a rookie in your profession. You know what I'm saying? So you're saying like how long you've been making music, starting out doing production, right? Like that's a lot of years you just had, and just the enjoyment of creating music, right? When you look at that, what kind of advice would you give to somebody who's like, all right, I want to start producing? Like, bro, I fuck with your shit so much, that shit make me want to produce. Like, what advice do you give them when it comes to stuff like that?
Man, you just got to be on it. I watch tutorials every day on stuff I don't even know. It's stuff I think I know how to do already. I watch tutorials every day, and you just got to love it. Like, I remember, you know, that's why I try to do better on documenting things, because documentation is what inspired me. Like watching Just Blaze you know, you can look this up on YouTube. He making a beat on the Come Up DVD, or, you know, watching Kanye West make Good Life, or watching Kanye West make that song with Do or Die. I forgot the name of the song, but Love Me.
Oh, yeah.
Me and Pat would quote that video in the studio. Like, you gotta love it. Like, for me, being 10, it wasn't like, oh, I'm trying to make it out. Like, that's what I love to do. Like, didn't know local rap existed for real. Like, my uncle was working with Cristal before niggas knew who Cristal was.
Right.
Like, he said he met Cristal because Cristal knocked on his door and was like, yo, y'all making music? I want to rap. And then from that point, I'm like, look at Cristal now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not even, you just got to love it. Like, it got to be something that you just love to do. It can't be a chore of like, you know, I get it being a way to make it out. And it's different. To be a producer, it's going to take hours. It's going to take 10,000. To be a rapper, you could catch one. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying you can't catch one being a producer, but it's just like a little bit harder to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's more synonymous to that sports example that you gave. Like, you gotta put that work in, you know? And you gotta be consistent.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? It was times that I wanted to quit for sure. Like, it gets hard, it gets rough. And it's points where, you know, people want to get paid so quick. Like, you know how many projects I did for free?
Yeah.
Like, people don't know the half of it, bro.
Yeah.
Like, ask Perception how he know me, bro.
Right.
Like, I used to keep it in the trunk. Like, I used to keep a mic preamp in the trunk and then have my mic be in my backpack and have my mic stand. Tyree could tell you, bro. We was at his crib moving everywhere. Like, everywhere. It's sick.
Right.
But people got to be willing to do that. Like, how bad do you want the product to be completed? How bad do you want the product to be out? It's got to be passion. It can't be like, I'm trying to make it out in a year, because you won't. And it's, you know, and it sounds bad, but like, you know, I love it when people quit. It's hard. Music is hard. It's not. Quit, nigga. Like, like, it is what it is, bro. Like, it's not easy. And it's a lot of sacrifices. It's a lot of L's. I had people steal music. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so much stuff, but the positive outweighs the negative. Like, when I'm doing the coolest things or going to coolest places I've ever been in my life, like, I don't think about those times.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about, oh, this is the norm now. Like, this is what we doing. And I just focus and lock in and keep my eye on the prize, you know?
Gotcha.
But you got to keep going. You got to be truly inspired. And even if you're not inspired, you got to at least be motivated and disciplined and consistent. It's not going to be fun every time. It's been times where I made the dopest stuff I've ever made, and I didn't feel like touching the keyboard that day.
Right.
You just get into it and you get lost for hours. So I would just say be consistent, be passionate, and love what you do. At the end of the day, if you don't love it, it's not gonna work out. So
that's facts.
This is what it is. It's not always gonna be fun. It's not gonna always be highlights.
Yeah.
So
so I want to also, just going back in memory lane. So, all right, we know where you started, and then now, all right, there's a local scene, right? So I remember seeing like names come up like Chocolate Fam. I remember the whole. Like I said, my introduction was between, you know, you and Pat, right, on that EP, right? And then we had the initiation. We started working out the studio.
It's crazy.
I remember the project I was working on was like Without a Cape. I remember just like going over new records at the time. It was a very fun time, and I remember shortly after that, I started seeing you work with like other people I knew in the creative community. Like, how was that journey like, going to working with people? Like, I remember with Betty Doll, y'all formed the
collective, Trap Phone.
Yeah. So how was that journey going? Like, all right, you've been working with the bros, you kind of venturing out. How is that making a name for yourself and independently amongst this community?
It wasn't hard. I feel like it gave me the confidence that I needed to do more. Because I knew, you know, I like my music. Right. But at that point, I had just been a bedroom producer, bedroom artist. Like, I'm dropping songs in high school. At that point, my biggest highlight before, you know, linking up with everybody and like making actual projects was like, I did a song called Free Throw. And I have to play that for y'all one day. But they played it at the pep rally at my school. It was fire. Like, that moment, that feeling was fire. I feel like the coolest nigga on the planet. You know what I'm saying? So like, but at the same time, I'm like, that's just high school. Like, it's not, you know. But like, working with people and they're like, oh, you're super talented, it kind of like boosts my confidence to want to spread out and do other things. So it wasn't hard. I met other artists through other artists. Like, they'll come by, we'll play projects, we'll play songs. I'm like, oh, that's dope, you made that beat. And we'll just go from there. And some artists it worked out with, some it didn't. And it's stuff that I made with artists that necessarily didn't go as far as I wanted it to, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you just got to keep going. You got to keep working on stuff. And at one point, I think 1 week Pat dropped, and then the next week Trap Phone dropped, and like it was like everything was dropping at the same. I think 2015 was like a super high volume year. Like that was the year it was like, oh, I'm a producer. Like in terms of like really, I can really do this. Like I could really work on multiple projects. I'm not even just producing. I'm like recording vocals, mixing, like mixing everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like whatever it takes to get the record done. You know, to the earlier point that I made, like do whatever I can to make the record. You know, if the person that I'm working with can't think of a hook, what hook can I think of?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And not even on something like I'm trying to get on the record. Like I already made the beat. I'm just trying to make sure the song come out. Like I remember doing a song with Shigo. This was years ago. She goes by a different name now. Correct me. It's 5 Jump.
I don't even know if she go by that no more.
Oh, okay. Well, my apologies, respectfully. But I remember, I just never forget, we did a session. And this session, like, always, like, rings in my mind. Because it rings true to everybody that I work with, regardless of the tier. People don't complete records, bro.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, no matter what level it is, it could be the highest level, it could be mid-tier, low, like, people don't complete records.
Why do you think that is?
I think some people, I don't know. I can't really say because I don't have that perspective, but, you know, you got to just love the full encompassing part of the song. You have to love both parts. Like, it can't be just like, I'm a producer, so I made the beat hard. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just like kind of like dish off the responsibility. At the end of the day, I like music. I love music. So I want the whole song to be fire. I want the beat to inspire a fire song.
So do you not want to, so if we're in a studio session, do you want to make sure that this song, at least we attempt to finish this song in this session?
Yeah,
or
or at least get close.
Get close, okay.
I want to make, I think the word I used to use is listenable. I still use this word, listenable. So even if it's not 100% done, you could take the demo, we could listen to it in a whip, and you're like, dang, I kind of want to do this here.
Gotcha.
But in the event, like, this is crazy, but if it was like, in the event, like, say we're in the studio and you die. Like, you know what I mean? It could make a posthumous album, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
Taking what I got and seeing what we could do to make an album.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Like, or make a song, a complete record. Because only us would know it's unfinished.
Right.
Somebody might think, oh, this is a great record. It could be better, maybe. But this is a finished product.
Right.
And just having that session with her, she was like, yeah, I don't really finish songs. And which is so crazy because you got to think, we made Loop from a loop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so just moments like that just rang true and just continue that process of being somebody that's reliable.
Gotcha.
I think reliability and being somebody that you could tap on and get the job done, they call them closers. You know, that's what I aspire to be, a closer in every aspect of the word. So that's what I've been working
Studio
on.
archetype in music, it's crazy.
For sure. Quincy Jones type bass. For sure.
So I want to ask, like, with that being said, from people in, like, back home, right? Who are some of your favorite, like, people to be in the studio with?
It's easy. And it's not in a particular order, so it's not numbered. But I definitely let us be in the studio with Pat and Betty. Those are like my two favorite. Because both of their pens are just Betty.
What's the difference between, like, a session with Pat and a session with Betty?
Me and Pat, okay, so Pat might have like a bad take and I'm gonna just loop it. And then we just listen to the bad take and just like laugh to tears and then finish the record. It'll take us a longer time to finish the record than me and Betty, but that's because we goofing off.
Right.
But for me and Betty, it's more of like a chemistry, like she knows where I'm going. Like every session we had, it was sessions where we completed songs. Like that was a session. Like anytime we linked up, we finished a record. We got we have unreleased records.
Got you.
Like she the only artist that I got like full unreleased songs with.
Got you. Okay.
Pat might be the second. Like I said, it's just them two. Them two are my favorites locally. Of course, all the gang, you know, Blue Zone. You know, like I said, it's just a fun time.
Got you.
Who else? Of course, Jay Brown. He's cool. I recently started working with Barely Legal. They're super talented and energetic. I feel like that's one thing I've been missing. Like, the older I get, you know, I'm losing energy. So, like, being in the studio with them, they, like, super amped up.
How is that, man? I recently interviewed them, and I remember, I don't know if they said it on camera, but off camera, they was talking about working with you and stuff. So how's that been?
It's been good. One thing I like is that they're fearless. They gonna do whatever it takes to push the project, to push the brand. And that's what I like. Like if I'm investing time and working on a project, it's not, as a producer, going back to the earlier conversation we had, it's not always about money. Like if you produce a song and you get paid 5 racks, that's a finite amount of money. Like that's gonna run out. You know what I'm saying? Like you want the song to continue to thrive, and you want the artist that you work with to mean something. So when they say, who you work with? Oh, I work with Barry Legal. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, bet I know that. You know what I'm saying? Like that means something more so than, people, and it's different types of ways to hustle. You could sell beats online and things of that nature. Like that stuff is valuable, but I like to produce. You know what I'm saying? I like to be in the studio, and being with them is something that I can produce. And like maybe I should try this, and they'll throw feedback. And we cook records on the spot. Like the records that you hear that I produce, we made them on the spot.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I like. It's been some times where I might send them a beat, but we'll still go through the stems and make it a song. Like I said, that's the end goal, making it a song. Yeah, for sure.
And that's a group too. So I know a lot of times I've seen like the one-on-one studio sessions where it's like you and Jay or you and Gats. You know what I'm saying? So how is that environment like with like 4+ niggas in the studio?
It's different because they have different personalities. Like Joe is chill. You got Dre, who is super confident. You got Miguel, the low-key, like, suave singer dude. Like, he'll just sing a high note for no reason. It's like, okay, nigga, like we get it. But they cool, though. All jokes aside, they cool. Bands is cool. Dope vibes, dope energy. Like I said, it's different personalities. They're not all the same at all. So just to seeing them collaborate and create this thing that's successful, I think that's cool to watch. It's fun to watch. And they have a bright future. Can't wait to see what they do next, for sure.
Gotcha. With your, navigating through the city, right? Coming up in those years, definitely between like 2013 to I would say 2019, right? Like, as a producer, it is also a business that you're running too. It's not just the music that you're just creating. Yeah. What is that like for you with handling business? Like, how has that been? Because I know for a lot of people, the conversations come up on social media about like, producers not getting paid, how to communicate where they want to get paid and stuff like that. And also, like, how do you go about saying like, oh, your price changed? Like, what is that? Because I can understand it more so for an artist. I can kind of understand for a producer, but what is that like for you?
Business, oh my gosh, business is the hardest part. I started selling beats early though. Okay. But like I would sell my beats for like $100 starting off, and I would have like this basic word contract that I would do, super basic. Okay. But I want to be a producer, and part of being a producer is making money off of your thing. So like everything isn't. You got to see the long game in certain things, but if you're not passionate or invested, hit it with a contract. You know what I mean? Boom. If you're gonna pay that, I'm gonna just keep my beat. You know what I'm saying? If you're not, but if you can see like when I see artists like Gats, I see artists like Pat, Betty, Jay, Barely Legal, other individuals I work with. I can't ring them all off at the top of my head, but it's like, I can see the long game in this. And when we do something, it receives feedback, or you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like my opinion is valued. That's another thing about being a producer. Is like one of the hardest things about being a producer and in business is being trusted. If your artist doesn't trust you, you can't get the best product, and also it doesn't make for the best business. Yeah. So I feel like, if there's any advice I can give, you just got to stay true to you and your price. In terms of prices going up, it depends on what level you're on and what you're trying to do. Because if you just nickel and diamond beats, like a price change really it ain't gonna really mean nothing. But it just depends on the relationships. Like, are you getting back in? Right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
what was it like where for you when someone who may have gotten like free beats from you, it was like, yo, I'm gonna need mine. You know what I'm saying,
bro? And it comes to business, bro. I'm not gonna shade nobody, but it's been certain issues where like, people are like, with producers, they do this though. They don't do this with videographers. They don't do this with photographers because they have more of a trade type business. Right. Like, you're not gonna get these pictures unless, I get this money. With music, you just so wide-eyed and optimistic. Like, you might have a record, and it's like, nah, bro, this is like fire, and you want the world to hear it. So you kind of it's like a give and take, a tug and pull situation. But it's been times where it's like, bro, I'm not gonna charge you, or they'll agree to a price, and then you try to get the back end on it, and they business bad, so they don't even know how to get it back in. Everything not DistroKid, by the way. Some people have distribution deals. And if your distribution company doesn't do splits, like, you know, I'm gonna just leave it at that. But you just gotta stand true, and you gonna take L's, bro. You can't. L's are not avoidable. But one thing I will say about music L's, like, I've always been confident that I can make more music. It's weird. Like, I feel like I take personal stuff, rightfully so. I feel like I take that stuff harder in terms of L's than music L's, because I feel like I just make more music.
Right.
And the people that, you know, I felt like wronged me, or they're not really doing nothing now.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? That's because I believe I was the catalyst in what they were doing.
Right.
And you just gotta have that confidence and have that faith in yourself that if you can get one, you can get another one.
When you say like you can make more music, right? So could you see yourself like in a climate where your catalog is available to sell? Let's say
Oh, of course.
you would sell like, oh, I could sell this for 50 mil, and
Oh yeah.
I can make more music.
Yeah, it's going up. It's going up.
Yeah.
And I'm like I said, I'm blessed. I'm thankful. I'm grateful. And I ain't got the heart to flex yet. But like once I figure it out, it's up, and it's just got to keep working. This is the beginning. That's the thing, though. This is not the end. This is the beginning. Like
Got you.
I have to work harder than I've ever worked. You know, so you work hard to get to this point. I'm working hard to get to the starting point.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? Like same thing with rappers. Rappers like, man, I've been working on this my whole life. Working on your whole life to start. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You got to make sure, you know, you finish in a way in which, you know, you don't not only set yourself up, but you set others up around you. And I feel like I'm on track to doing that. And I always bring it back home to the homies. Like any good news that I have is spread. Like y'all got Leap of Faith first.
Right,
It was on
right.
accident. I meant to send it to him,
Yeah.
and I sent it to the group chat on accident.
That's
That's
when
a
it was,
true story.
We're going to Vegas. Yeah.
Bro, true story, bro. Because I'm texting him, and I drag it, and I get somebody texting the group chat, so it changed.
Right.
And I dropped it and press enter. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's dope or not. I'm just like, bro, you got to hear this. And he was like, all right, send it over. We playing 2K. I think we on the game.
Yeah.
And then Tyree quoted. I'm like, oh, it's up. It's up. But it was cool, though. Like, even that song, like, I ain't do nothing to it after I sent it to y'all.
Yeah.
I made that in one night. I mixed it, everything in one night, and it just came out right. And then I was like, okay, the
Yeah.
homies approved, so I'm going to just drop it. Me and Gallardo went to St. Pete, shot the cover art. Cover art was me jumping over 2 dumpsters. It don't look like it, though. Creativity. You know what I'm saying? Jumping over 2 dumpsters. It was crazy, though. It was, yeah, so I'd say, you know, back to the business thing, you just got to be as smart as you can be at that moment and learn from your mistakes. You can read all the books you want, but when you're in the studio and you making something, it's hard to be like, so what about the splits? Like, it's just hard. So you got to carry yourself in a way in which they know, oh, Jordan about his business. Like, you know, I've sold beats. Like, I might start up a relationship by selling a beat. And then once I see the person respects my price, then we might be able to do some other type of business where the front end is not as crazy. You know what I'm saying? But I'm making sure, you get what I'm saying? It's like a long game. Like, it's been times, you know, I've charged Pat for beats. I've charged, you know, numerous people that constant collaborators.
Yeah.
They pay me.
Right.
It's not like a homie, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
people think it's like, oh, them the homies. No, they've paid. Like,
That could be, but that could be challenging for some producers. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah, you just got to realize you got to figure out who you want to be.
yeah,
You know, if you want to be a bedroom producer, have at it, by all means. And sometimes you can do things where, like I said, you don't charge up front, but you're making sure you're getting that 50% back end.
Yeah.
If you produce half of it, it's 2 parts of a song, 50% lyrics, 50% beat. If you're not getting 50%, you're getting robbed. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what it is. Because when you talk to an artist and you say 50, they're like, oh, you get half? Yeah, I do. Take away my part.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I remember us having that conversation.
It's
That was real
uncomfortable.
difficult. Yeah.
it is
remember that.
uncomfortable. Because it's
Yeah.
like, bro, but my name on it. It's like, yeah, but
Yeah.
take out.
And I could see that being difficult dealing with like on an amateur, like indie level, as
Yeah.
opposed to dealing with like signed artists and stuff like
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? So
And even then, it's like signed to who? Some
That's
certain
true.
entities would get it. You know, like now as I grow in the game, like I'm not used to sharing production credit with other producers. I'm on
Right.
the song with 2-3 other producers.
right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's just how the game go. They might send me something and say, "Oh, add some sauce to this," like,
Right,
but I gotta know, you know, my portion of it, my percentage,
right.
and go from there. Additional production, like go from there. Or it'll be times where I have the main beat and somebody might add a little something on there. You know, just gotta know your worth and be able to speak up. Because at the end of the day, you get what you agree to.
Got you, yeah.
That's the reality of it. In any industry, you get what you agree to. You can't be like, bro, but we homies. Yeah, bro, but I asked you if you wanted this, and you said yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you see yourself getting into more avenues with the music and production, like working on soundtracks or scoring films, indie films and stuff like games and stuff like that?
So I've actually scored 3 films already.
Okay. They
For
released?
yeah, for this director, you know, Louis Ramos.
Yes.
He did one, I believe it's called Sunrise. I did that whole score. I did a horror film before that one, and a horror short before that one as well. And those were all in collaboration with Louis. So I love scoring. Scoring is cool because you really get to evoke emotion and like create like an environment, a world. So it's fun. I like scoring, and it's something that I definitely want to continue to do. But it's just hard to like get into that though, cause like you have to. For me personally, I just been inquiring, reaching out to different directors, but people don't want to pay that bread. Like people don't want. When you in that film world, I will say they're more inclined to pay you, but they want to keep expenses. So nowadays it's easy to find like copyright-free music, so they just want to do things like that. But scoring is cool. Scoring is cool. It's definitely something I want to. You know what I'm saying? If you never seen that short film, definitely look for Louis Ramos and look up that short film. It was fun to score that. It's on Vimeo.
Okay.
It's
cool.
fire.
In the world of AI, right? Does that worry you? And if it does or don't, like, do you see yourself collaborating using AI in the future with music?
I tried to use AI the other day. I tried to use it the other day. I was trying to, cause like it was for this beat, and I needed like a narration, and so I was like, it was crazy. I was like, it'd be cool if like a kid voice said this. So I was like looking up programs. I'm in a hotel room, and they were just asking me like to track my voice, and they like kind of scared me. I was like, I don't want to give my voice away. like so I ain't do it. But AI doesn't scare me at all. I actually like it because, you know, like I said, I'm a student to the craft, and I'm honestly always constantly like looking for new plugins. And AI is making the plugins better for people who don't necessarily work in traditional studios.
Right.
Like a lot of environments that I work in aren't sound treated. So a lot of plugins that I have like take out room reverb and take out noise. And I feel like AI will help in regards to like mixing and like compression is hard. Like vocal compression is really like hard for me sometimes. And like if I can get AI to do that if I can get AI to mix vocals for me,
Right.
we'd be having a different conversation.
Yeah. I can see that.
You know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
can see that.
bro, I was telling John that the other day, like, you know, shout out to John, like, we've never had like other than Santos, we never had like another engineer, you know what I'm saying, that could like, that we could streamline work to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it was like 6 to 8 of us all working on projects.
Right.
So it's me and Santos mixing everything, multiple projects. So it's just like, you know, if I could definitely divvy up the workload, I definitely would. Whether it be robotic or human, I definitely. AI doesn't, because AI is, at the end of the day, it's still programmed by humans.
Right.
It's not to a point where it's autonomous, where it's like doing its own thing. So I'm not really too worried about it. You still got to import the ideas.
Right.
For sure.
Now, we've known to get in several debates and arguments with music and artists and all of that.
Screaming matches.
A lot of times is what we think is trash. What is moving you today? What is something that is like, damn, like, I want to listen to this again? What is something new or recent you've been listening to that's like has moved you or inspired you a bit?
Well, I've been reading a lot recently, and this is hilarious. I know Tyree gonna laugh, but like, I've been listening to like jazz. Like, I don't know if I'm getting old, but I just been like when I clean the crib or I just have jazz on. So, but like jazz without words though. Like niggas gonna be like, skibidi. But that's what I've been on recently, and like, you know, I feel like right now is the best time to make rap music because rap music seems pretty like stale right now. There's like no new, there isn't really a new standout. I feel like we just enjoy the greats as of right now. In my humble opinion, I feel like, remember when Drake came out and it was like, oh my gosh, what is this?
Yeah.
I feel like we haven't had that in rap in a minute. So I feel like it's a good time to make rap, but I try to listen to other things to inspire better versions of rap, if that makes sense. So I've been listening to like a lot of indie stuff, a lot of different sounds and textures. Like, you know, recently I listened to Mitski. She's a singer. Listen to like different genres, like, you know, just being influenced and inspired by different sounds to make better rap. I'm not gonna say the word better because that's kind of like diminishing what rap is right now, but like not necessarily saying better, but just like another form, an alternative form of it.
Got you.
And just changing the sound up. You know what I'm saying? When trap first came out, he was like, "What is this?" You know, and you go from trap to like, I feel like there's a small New Jersey wave. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm trying to figure out what's next. Like, I never want to make what's current. Like, if niggas on New Jersey, I missed that one. If it's already here, I missed it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, let's
that.
make the next thing. You know, drill was before the New Jersey wave. So just working on the next thing and the next sound and still remaining that, like for me, I love soul music. So whatever I do, still have that soul, that feel aspect of it.
Got you. I noticed that when I'm thinking back about your music, right? I don't really recall like hearing like a tag or producer tag or anything like that. What's that about? Is that something you don't care about? Did you have?
Well,
one
I used to have one,
You-
and then they picked on me, so I got rid of it.
Well, how is that?
it was.
Oh, okay.
First time I ever met Tyree. I met Pat. I knew Pat before I met Tyree, right? And we went to, we knew Pat through a mutual friend named Gerard. Shout out Gerard. We went to the same church together. So Pat made music, of course, and I had sold a beat to Pat. This was like early on, and I remember the beat that I sold him. I remember all of these days, bro. It's crazy. And the tag on it was J.O. And then when Tyree met me, the first thing he's like, "Oh, J.O." It was the craziest thing. You gotta think, I don't know this man. And this is back when Tyree was reckless. I'm looking like, yeah, I probably shouldn't do tags. I ain't had a tag. The only tag I've had was like, Gatsby was like, Jordan Game 6. And I was thinking about implementing it into like other beats, but I just never came around to do it. I just never did it. But I never really had a tag. I feel like if I got a tag, it would have to be super cool. It couldn't be, at this point, it couldn't be something normal. It would have to be like something really cool or somebody, it had to be like a moment. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like tags aren't as important as relationships.
Got you.
You know?
I remember people saying like you don't know who made the beat unless you heard the tag on the beat. Like everybody beats be sounding the same and shit like that.
Yeah,
so.
the tags don't. In my humble opinion, I feel like the tags don't mean as much as the relationships. As long as people know your name when they go see the credits, because people go see the credits. The people that matter go see the credits, bro.
Got you.
And they're gonna say, "Dang, bro did this. I see that name on this song. I see his name on this song." Like, so that's more important. I feel like sometimes the tag is more so of a hindrance.
Yeah.
It just depends on the case. Some people add tags later on in their careers, but like I said, if I add a tag, it has to be like, it gotta be like a crazy story behind it or something. So next time if you ever do another interview and there's a tag on it, I probably have like a crazy story. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it just never worked out.
Is there like a song or an album, right, that you wish like, man, I wish I produced that?
Wish I produced that. I'm so competitive, bro. I be looking at stuff the wrong way. I be looking at like, man, I probably could have did it better than this. But an album I wish I would have said I would probably produce. I like Late Registration. That was Ye and John Bryan, which is like a super expensive album. Like rumor has it that Kanye West went into debt making that album. Like all the instrumentation, all that stuff costs money.
Yeah.
So that album for sure. What else? I don't know off the top of my head. I can say Late Registration because that's low-hanging fruit for me, just being a huge Kanye West fan, but that's all I can think of right now at the top of my head. In terms of a song that I wish I produced, that's a good one. That's a good one. It's a lot of great beats. That's the thing. It's a lot of great beats. It isn't a lot of great songs, but it's a lot of great beats. I'm not sure. But I definitely like the simple stuff, like Bound 2 is like finding the sample first. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's like, you know, that's cool to me. Like he found the chop first, because people will sample the same song and miss the golden chop.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like Kanye West is like very good at finding the chop. Him, Q-Tip, Jayda, bro.
When you find the golden chop, how do you know you found the golden chop?
I'm a sicko. I know I found a golden chop where I just listen to the sample, I just loop it, and it might take me 2 days to finish the beat, just off the chop. Like, Cause you gotta make. For me, I make the beat and I also arrange it. A lot of people don't arrange their beats; they just like have like loops or whatever. But I try to make it, like I said, as close to a song as I can. So when I present it to an artist, they know, okay, the hook go here, the verse go here, the hook go here.
Yeah.
But I might just run it back in the crib like, nah, this it. Like this it.
Nah,
It just might take a while like to finish it because I'm just turned up.
Yeah.
But if I'm locked in, I could probably get it done. But you just know from the feeling. Like I could play you a sample right now that I ain't even chopped yet, and you're like, oh, that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's just how it is. Like be on YouTube all hours of the night, late at night, looking up weird, bro. Producers know if you really in it for real, it's like you on the dark side of YouTube. Like, what is this? Like, how could I even clear this if I needed to? So just like just finding it and just like really being locked in. Like, what do I do next? Like to not mess this up. For sure.
So last thing I want to ask is like, what can we expect from you in the future? I know you say you're working on production right now, high priority project, but like, what are some other things that we can expect coming from Jordan Patrick, music or non-music?
That's a great question. I'm gonna say, priority project definitely, and then it's like solo stuff on the way for sure. Solo stuff is gonna be fun, cause it's like super soulful. It's super intentional. A lot of feels, a lot of perspectives of just like what I'm going through right now in life right now. And just cool stuff, man. Like I'm trying to make cool visuals and just really challenge myself to go all the way with like visual things. Cause I'm so music and audio driven that I feel like that's one thing I like. Back to the Instagram point, like I feel like I lack that part of it.
Right.
And maybe I should streamline, just thinking out loud, maybe I should like streamline that. And that's one of the good things about having a friend like Gallardo. Like that's his first brain. That's my second brain. His first brain is art. My first brain is music.
Right.
So running ideas, like I can send him a record, he can come back with like a whole campaign idea of like.
You're like content creator guru.
Yeah, and to be honest, and like he more than that, but like when I tap him, it's like for that type of stuff. Like, like what do you see? What do you think of this? Like, and he down to help. It's just really on me, like whenever I'm ready. So that and just dope stuff. Like I definitely want to do more in-person, outside things more. Post-pandemic, like definitely want to be outside.
Yeah.
More, but in a creative way. Definitely don't want to do the same things over and over again. I feel like I got caught in a loop, no pun intended. So I just want to make sure I'm stepping out more and not being so much of a recluse, like, cause we homies, so like I don't really have that perspective. Like I talked to the young homie Jay Brown. He like, bro, people don't know who you are for real. Like they act like you an enigma. Like what I'm saying? Like that's because I don't really be on social media like that. And if I am, it's something stupid and cryptic. Like the other day I posted like a picture of my shoes on like a front door mat. I just thought it looked cool. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not too informative, but just try to put my best foot forward in terms of like visual campaigns. And I just been going through like my own version of like Pinterest and inspiration and seeing what I want to be perceived as and what I want to look like and things like that. So just doing that and matching that with the music, because the music gonna always be fire. Just making sure that everything else is aligned with it. And when the floodgates open, we just hit them across the head, capitalize on that moment.
Yeah.
That's what it's, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's gotta be patient. Like these next 6 months or so, it's just like locked in.
So all this cultivating,
a lot of VC.
everything. Where can everybody kind of like go to like know all things Jordan Patrick?
So you can go to my Instagram. It's a weird username, but I haven't changed it. It's at JXPVTTY, and in the link in my bio is my website. But the Instagram myself is like I check more so Instagram than anything, and I'm more so tuned into Instagram more than anything. And my main goal with Instagram is more so be the dealer than the user. So definitely want to start issuing out more content. But that's how you get updates. Like anything I'm doing, like any carousels or any information, I typically put on Instagram first. And then like I have the website reflect like some new news or a new song. Every time I drop a new song, I switch the website around to fit the aesthetic of the song. So yeah, just new stuff. Definitely solo stuff on the way. Like I said, I feel like I cracked the code in terms of being able to do both. I'm not balancing both right now, but I just made a few plays like these past 2 weeks in which I could just streamline the workload, because I'm so do everything, mix everything. But now it's like getting to the point where it's like, okay, it's okay to let go of the reins. I
Yeah.
found some people that I feel like I could trust to get the sound that I'm looking for in terms of mixing.
Right.
And I feel like I can do
That's
more.
important.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just hard. Like when you're a producer, artist, it's like, I feel like I could do it. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that picture of Young Thug on the computer with Lil Durk. That's really what it'd be like. Like, bro, I got it, bro. Just, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, editing pictures. You know, you send the easy edits, but you like the ones that you really dear to your heart. You wanna work on those yourself. But I feel like I should streamline it, get the stuff out to the people, cause got a lot of unreleased music that I wanna start performing. I feel like I really wanna start performing again within this next year. I really wanna perform. I miss performing a lot. So, for sure.
Dope. Well, appreciate you for coming through, bro. It's been a pleasure. You know what I'm saying? It's been a long time. Definitely been talking about trying to link up for a fucking minute. Motherfucker keep going back and forth. I'm like, bro, you in town? You in town, nigga?
Yeah.
But no, I appreciate you, bro. Proud of you. Continue
Thank
to keep doing what you're doing, man. Very proud of you, bro. And can't wait to hear whatever's coming down the pipeline. So
For sure.
thank you guys for tuning in. This has been another Beatsnchill Presents interview series, of course, with Jordan Patrick. I'm your host, Hometown, Tyree behind the cam. And till next time, peace.